Hello, this is Susan Hefner-Rama again with the Kentucky Office for Refugees, and I want to talk a little bit more about cultural competency. What really is cultural competency? What does that mean? I'm going to read you a definition that comes from a publication. The ability to identify and challenge one's own cultural assumption, one's values and beliefs. It is about developing empathy and connected knowledge, the ability to see the world through another person's eyes, or at least to recognize that other people view the world differently. I talked about culture as a framework that helps us function. It's very important. It's important that people have that framework to view the world. So I'm going to tell you a story. One day I was at the resettlement agency here in Louisville, and all the students were coming in for their English second language classes. And it was very cold and icy out, and there was an older gentleman who came in wearing the most beautiful, fluffy, pink bathrobe. And he came into school cozy and warm and went on to his class. Now, when you might see an older gentleman from an Asian country in a pink, fluffy bathrobe, you might say, that's wrong. But why is it wrong? To us, we see something that is only worn in the house. We know that fluffy polyester thing that has a tie around the middle and you wrap yourself up in is something that you wear in the evening at home after a bath, or, when you're feeling lazy or sick. This gentleman saw a warm wrap that would keep him warm as he was heading out into this cold, frigid weather that he had never had to experience before in his life. So he was feeling rather cold. And this would keep him warm all the way, standing at the bus stop, riding the bus all the way to school to his ESL class. We have lenses that we see the world through that teaches us how to function, what's right and what's wrong, and we need that framework. It's a very important one. Ethnocentrism is that framework. We all have it. It helps us know what to wear when we go to a job interview, or how to interact with someone when we're at the bank, or we're out on the street, we're with our friends, and how those kinds of things differ. We know those different frameworks and how to behave. Ethnocentrism is important. It helps us know who our social group is, who will protect us and keep us safe. Are people that are like us and think like us. So cultural competency, according to this article, is the ability to move outside of that, to be able to shift how we understand and accept a person in that is different. So as providers, social workers, caseworkers, mental health workers, medical providers, it's our job in that moment to take our framework and hold it aside for a moment, and then open a channel that allows us to engage with another person. So it's important that we understand our framework, okay? As Westerners, as North Americans, we're very rule-oriented. Our communication styles are very clear about roles, what's right and wrong. We talk about everything. We talk everything out. We have very flexible patterns for roles as opposed to some other places. We're very time-oriented. This is right, this is wrong. You don't come late for a job interview. You don't come late to work. You don't come late to a medical appointment. We're very linear in our way of thinking. We're very future-oriented. We look to the future. We have lots of personal autonomy and individualism. That's how our whole country was founded. And that's, if you look at our laws and the rules that we have, they're very individualistic focused. We separate mind and body in this culture. We're very problem-solving oriented. We're direct, and we believe in competition. Now, does that mean that every day we act on all of those things consistently? No. But that is the broader frame of Western North American context that we operate out of. And we all know how to operate in that if you grow up in this culture. You know those things, you learn them, and you can respond to them. And then when you're with your friends, you do what you want, what's more comfortable. Maybe you have a subculture that you operate in, and things are different in that subculture, but we know that larger framework. So when a person enters the United States and encounters that acculturation process is figuring out what those rules are. So I'm going to give you some contrasts that we see a lot with refugees. The first one is collectivism. If this act is not good for everyone in the family or everyone in the group, then it doesn't matter how good you think it will be for me. If it's not good for the whole, I won't do it. Collectivism is one of the more common values in our refugee communities. Again, these are very broad strokes, but it's very common outside the United States in many of the cultures of refugees that come here. They're much more past-oriented and are more accepting, look for harmony, and the whole mind, spirit, body is much more integrated than we look at it in Western culture, especially in medicine. As we understand this distinction between mind and body, the distinction of cause and effect. You take a pill, you get better. You drink, you become drunk, you'll have a car accident. Those kinds of cause and effects understandings is not necessarily part of every culture around